Okay, this is part 2 of Hidden Pains. No, I'm trying to find a job. I need a job like yesterday. Well, hon, what can you do? Can you cook? Yes, I can cook. I learned to cook when I was 13 years old. My grandmother taught me how to cook. God rest her soul. She was a good cook. I cooked for my father after my grandmother died for 12 years. And it all ended when he married that bimbo gold digger bleak blonde. She didn't like your cooking, huh? No, it wasn't that. She eats out a lot. I don't believe she could operate a stove, let alone cook a decent home cooked meal. She's the reason I'm looking for a job, because my father asked me to leave because she said it's not working out with me and her. What an awful father to ask you to do that. How old is she? She's younger than I am. She's 25, I'm 30. Rude rolls her eyes, going back behind the counter with the mop. Oh, brother, he really robbed the cradle. I said to Bassinet, my father's over 50 years old. He could be her father twice. Cassie holds up, could be her father twice, holds up 2 fingers. When my mother died, Ruby interrupts. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Bless your heart. Yeah, thanks. My father started dating his secretary right after my mother died, and then married her. He married her when she was 20. I haven't made any sense of that marriage yet. Go figure. No, sweetie. She chuckles. He was already messing with her. He hired her for that purpose. You know, I believe you're right. He and my mom would fight all the time, and he would leave home and be gone for days. She was demanding that they spend more quality time together. Her trick for him was if he refuses, she would threaten to expose his floundering and ruin everything for him. Those fights with your mom were stage fights to get out of the house. She moved into our house ruling the first day. Can you believe that? Hon, there's not too much that surprised me these days. I couldn't stand for her to tell me what to do. One day, I just told her, I says, I'm older than you. What makes you think I'm going to listen to you and do what you say? You're not my mother. I am grown. I told her she must be high on drugs to think that I would obey her. I asked her where was her father. I said, you must don't have a father, so you have to marry mine and take him from me, away from me. It was on from then on. We argued every single day. She wanted you out of the way, hon. Make a fist, so she could really take advantage of your father and then run off with his money with some low-life gigolo. That about fits her. One Saturday morning, I was going to get the newspaper. I heard laughter coming from outside the door. I snatches the door open. There's my drunken father and his drunken bimbo staggering, trying to hold each other up. They've been out all night. Clubbing. My father doesn't club. Sounds like he does now. I said, Father, what are you doing? What would the neighbors think? He said, using her man voice. Oh yeah, the neighbors. Thanks for opening the door, sweetheart. I can't seem to find my keys. Where was his keys? In his hand. Oh boy, he was drunk. I looked at her, a disgrace to all decent women. She was practically naked, no bra on, everything exposed. He keeps it up with her. In a couple of years, he's going to be graveyard dead. I told my father I was surprised he was behaving like this, and I told her she was no surprise at all, that I expected that behavior from her. Then I told her if my father allowed her to dress like that, embarrassing him, that's fine. But I said, with all respect and honor due to Christ, please remove the cross from between your cleavage because you're not representing what it means. Whoa! Chuckles. I didn't get your name. What's your name, hon? Cassie with a K. My daughter's name is Cassie with a C. I lost her 23 years ago in a custody battle to my ex-husband. You know, that's what happened to me. My father won me in a custody battle. Sad. And I never saw my mother again. Well, what a coincidence, you poor child. He told me years later after my grandmother died, when I turned 17, he said my mother died. He never could tell me when, so I didn't believe him. I just didn't believe him. You want to know why I didn't believe him? Why, hon? Because we never attended her funeral. No one talked about her death. And he kept me away from all my mother's relatives. Nothing was adding up to her being dead. Your father wouldn't allow you to go to your mother's funeral? No. He just said she died just like grandmother, and he didn't want to remember her like that. That is why we didn't attend the funeral. Ludicrous. What that has to do with you attending your mother's funeral? Okay, he didn't want to remember her that way, but at least he could have allowed you to attend her funeral if he didn't want to. Whatever happened to paying your last respects? He grabs and hugs me and says, just the two of us now. He says, now grandma is gone, we have to take care of each other. Like that's supposed to make me feel better. I'm not taking sides with him, honey, but maybe he meant because he probably was cremated. And you were so young going through life with the thought of your mother being burned up and she's ashes now. That could do something to your mind if you're not strong. You poor child. But still, we should have had a memorial service and at least given us her ashes. I didn't have to look in the urn at her ashes. That's true. I don't know what to tell you, hon. Do you know where your mother's gravesite is located? No, you don't get it. She's not dead. He just wants me to believe she is, so I'll stop asking him about her. Well, there are ways of finding out if she's really deceased. The Hall of Records Archive should have her on file. I already searched. It was either wrong birthday or wrong birthplace, wrong age, wrong state. I went through 50,000 names, all no match. Sounds like to me, hon, your father wants you to forget your mother altogether and just focus on him. Well, when I turned 20, I went back to the old neighborhood and knocked on every door. I asked everyone who door I knocked on about my mother. Some said they think she died in jail, they wasn't for sure, and others said she moved away out of town, out of state with no forging address. Some say they didn't know her, and some just slammed the door in my face. That's when I stopped looking. My father would have killed me if he'd known I'd been looking for her. He really hated my mother. Your father sounds a lot like my deranged ex-husband. But you shouldn't have given up looking for her, honey. I know my mother's out there somewhere. And I'm going to find her. And when I do find her, I'm going to tell her how awful, low down, and dirty Dad has been towards me and her. And how he turned on me when he married that gold-digging bleached blonde of his. And how he chose her over us. I'm sure she would love to hear that coming from you. Listen. Ruby props up on the counter. I have an opening for a cook. If you're interested, it's all yours. Oh, bless you, miss. It's Rube Clinton. Cassie shakes her hand. Pleased to meet you, Miss Ruby Clinton. Oh, just call me Rube, honey. Leave off the missus. We are both adults. Chuckles. Chuckles. Okay, Rube, my last name is Clinton too. Get out of here. Yep, but I'm no relation to the former president. Wish I were. Well, I'm a Clinton by marriage. My maiden name is Simpson. Are you hungry, hon? Yes, starving. Points her finger at Cassie.